The Aspen Acres fire continues to burn nearly 100,000 acres in southern Colorado. We have a behind-the-scenes look at the fire, conditions crews are up against, and what people are doing to help those impacted. Plus, new viewer video of the heroism firefighters are showing right now to protect our communities. Our team coverage starts right now at 6.
This is a First Alert 5 weather alert.
Thanks for joining us for News 5 at 6. I'm Allison Zimmerman. We are on weather alert tonight for storms, and we'll get to that in just a few minutes. But first, we begin with an update on the mandatory evacuation orders in our area. Today in Fremont County, all mandatory evacuation orders were downgraded to pre-evacuation. That includes anyone who lives along County Roads 15, 103, 100, Newland Ridge Road, the Los Pinos subdivision, and Lock Mountain Estates. If you live in these areas, you do not need a reentry card to go home, but you do need a valid photo ID or proof of address. All of these areas are still on pre-evacuation orders, meaning you do need to be prepared to leave again if conditions change. In Pueblo and Custer counties, the evacuation orders outlined in black and yellow have not changed since Tuesday, but the Pueblo County Sheriff's Office says they do anticipate to lift mandatory evacuations in most areas of the southern part of Pueblo County tomorrow. Evacuees, though, must get a reentry card from the Disaster Assistance Center or the DAC to re-enter. County officials say to save time, you can join a virtual waiting line before getting there. The mandatory orders are expected to be lifted tomorrow. They will remain on pre-evacuation status. The Aspen Acres fire started last Monday and is burning 96,121 acres in Pueblo and Custer counties. That's up about 90 acres since yesterday. The fire is 14% contained. More than 275 homes are destroyed, but officials expect that number to continue to increase. No injuries or deaths have been reported. This fire started in Custer County, and that's where a lot of the most active areas of the fire continue to burn. Our Bill Folsom got an escort into the fire zone from the Custer County Sheriff's Office today. He just got back and joins us live at the edge of the fire with those details. Bill.
We spent several hours inside the fire zone today, and during that time we crossed paths with some of the boots on the ground firefighters who talked to us off the cuff. They were talking about afternoons and the witching hour, meaning that all through the week the weather's kicked up and it's changed the fire. That happened again this afternoon. That big smoke you're seeing behind me, that's just kicked up in the last hour and a half. We've been working several days with the Custer County Sheriff's Office looking for an opportunity to go see the Custer County side of this fire. They said when it's safe we can go. That happened earlier today when it was very calm with a warning that we would have to leave if it got dangerous. Well, inside of there is a lot to see. Blackened areas, also homes that are burned, others that have been saved, firefighters working. You can hear them in the distance cutting away at trees. It is a very dramatic and large sight.
It's just like you'll see a house, like you'll see that house, it'll be totally destroyed, and this one over here will be fine. It's just the way the fire acts.
Driving into the fire zone, the scenario of some houses gone and others saved repeats itself over and over. You also see firefighting efforts like dozer lines through property to create fire breaks in places where the fire reached a road and was prevented from crossing to the other side. There are locations where all that remains of thick forest is charred skeletons of trees. And when wind kicks up, air turns gray with blowing ash. The wind remains a factor where the fire continues to burn.
One day it's going this way, next day it's going that way. Actually, 1 hour it's that way, next day's hour that way, then this way.
The popular Bishop's Castle so far is untouched with flames a few miles away. At Aspen Acres, where the fire started, the area is surrounded by charred trees and fire in steep terrain that is difficult to reach. The elite team brought in to fight this fire knows where they can attack and when to stay back.
They're used to terrain like this.
It was very evident going into the zone today that there is still a long firefight ahead, especially up in that high country where there is rugged terrain. One more thing to point out, as we were leaving today, our phones went off with another warning to us saying we needed to leave the area because of flash flood warnings. As you look at those scorched hillsides, it is very evident as well that there is going to be a flash flood danger when rain comes through this area. At the fire zone, Bill Folsom, News 5.
Bill, thank you. Tonight, the Alaska Incident Command Team will hold a community meeting in Florence. It's happening at 7 o'clock at the Florence Junior High School. Fire bosses are expected to give an update on the fire as well as answer some questions. We'll be live streaming tonight's meeting on KOAA.com. Taking a live look now from our sky cams outside in both Pueblo and Colorado Springs. We are on weather alert for storms throughout our area. Let's bring in meteorologist Alex O'Brien. And Alex, although the rain can certainly help the fire crews, as we've been talking about and Bill just mentioned, it's also creating a flash flood risk.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that footage that Bill showed of those scorched areas that are just entirely gray, that's exactly what we're talking about. That kind of ash will immediately start running off and you'll have this debris flow going downhill. Those are the spots that we're especially worried about. But it looks like for the most part, storms are done today at the fire zone. So this is new. The flash flood watch today has been canceled, but it still remains in place for tomorrow, which is why you still see it on the map. Meantime, we have severe thunderstorms rolling through the eastern plains right now, and they're just providing us with some strong wind gusts at the fire currently, gusting around 20 to 40 miles per hour. Speaking of those storms, we got this line of very strong storms moving through the plains. The main hazard with these would be strong wind gusts. We have this severe thunderstorm warning that's between Los Animas and Lamar with the potential of 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and some small hailstones. Initially, you'll get the strong wind and then you'll get a heavy deluge of rain. We also have that 60-mile-per-hour wind gust potential for this line of storms moving between I-70 and towards Kit Carson. Eventually, they'll make their way towards Cheyenne Wells and Burlington. So I'll track these storms for the rest of the evening. Plus, I'm looking ahead to more storm activity tomorrow. I'll have the Futurecast coming up in a few minutes.
In my opinion, fire is one of the worst disasters you could respond to.
The Aspen Acres fire has prompted calls for reinforcements from firefighting to helping those displaced. News 5's Pueblo reporter Owen Skornick-Hayes spoke with one charitable organization about its direct impact on those who otherwise may not know where their next meal is coming from.
Volunteer food distribution is increasing in Pueblo as displacement continues from the Aspen Acres fire, and it's come in the form of Mercy Chefs.
We came here Wednesday, and now we're already pushing out food just one day later, which is amazing.
Back in the kitchen,
We're asking for 10 people.
chef quality meals are being prepared.
What you see is a well-crafted 4 to 5 profile meal.
Enriching food meant to feed anyone impacted by the fires.
Whether that's a person who might have struggled through losing things through fires, or whether it's a first responder or a volunteer helping out, we're here to feed those.
That prepared food travels to locations across Pueblo. One of those is here at Fellowship of the Rockies. Lunch is served from 11:30 to 1:30, and dinner is served from 4:30 to 6:30. Matthew Hernandez has been relying on these meals since Mercy Chef's arrival.
This fire destroyed everything I had.
His property outside of Beulah is no more, but a free cooked meal goes a long way.
Delicious, it's great. And lots of it, you just need one plate and it fills me.
Because the need is great, emotionally, physically, financially. And so there's a piece that we can fit into by preparing a meal, serving a meal.
Mercy Chefs say they'll be in Pueblo for at least the next 10 days in the immediate aftermath of a fallout that will last months.
This place has really helped out.
From Fellowship of the Rockies, I'm Owen Skornick-Hayes, your Pueblo reporter.
And if you have a story idea or an issue in Pueblo that you want Owen to look into, scan the QR code on your screen. This will take you to his contact information, or you can find his page on our website, KOAA.com. We have received so many pictures of the Aspen Acres fire from our viewers over the past week and a half. We want to show you one video from a viewer who says firefighters in Beulah saved his home. Take a look. This is video that Paul sent into our newsroom. You can see and hear the fire quickly approaching the side of his garage. Thankfully, crews were able to get that fire out. Thank you, Paul, for sending this in. Our senior reporter, Tony Keith, spoke with Paul about his experience. You can watch that interview tomorrow morning on News 5 Today. And a reminder that KOAA News 5 and the Scripps Howard Fund are partnering to raise donations to help those impacted by the wildfire burning here in southern Colorado. We've collected just under $40,000 so far, including $10,000 donated by News 5. If you'd like to help out your neighbors, you can scan this code on your screen here, or you can text FIRES to 50155. The Southern Colorado Wildfire Relief Fund will receive these donations. We have an update now. Crews are gaining containment on the fire burning near Cheyenne Mountain in El Paso County. It started Tuesday night and prompted pre-evacuation orders for people southwest of Highway 115 and the Rock Creek Canyon area. It's burned an acre and a half and is now 50% contained. That's up from 30% earlier today. El Paso County deputies say lightning sparked this fire. Officials are asking the public to stop flying private drones in that area. They say the drones are blocking helicopters from doing their jobs. And we have new video tonight of this little helper on the Rock Creek Canyon fire. The Interagency Wildland Fire Team says this goat was first on scene, even leading crews into the fire. They say she even encouraged them to keep up by stopping and making impatient goat noises at the crew. CSFD says it even helped with some fuel mitigation along the way. Looks like everyone made some new friends, even while responding to the emergency. Pretty incredible.
Hi, I'm Victor Marks, and I am humbled to be the Republican nominee for governor of Colorado.
The Associated Press has officially called the Republican nomination for governor for pastor Marine Corps veteran Victor Marks. Marks forged ahead of State Senator Barb Kirkmeyer, who'd been in the lead on election night. Marks maintained a lead of more than 2,000 votes over the last week. Now, while the race is close, it does not qualify for an automatic recount under state law. Marks posted a video just about an hour ago thanking his supporters and saying that the work is not over.
We are going to take part in debates that matter and are already scheduled. But let me be clear, between now and June 30th, we're not going to spend our time in the traditional settings of probably limited visibility that really over the last 2 decades have lost governor's races.
Marks will face Attorney General Phil Weiser, who secured the Democratic nomination on election night over U.S. Senator Michael Bennet. Weiser sent a statement in response to Marks' victory, saying in part, his views and style are far out of step with Coloradans, and his nomination for governor is a threat to our state's values and our future. Alex?
Coming up next in the forecast, I'll be tracking our active severe weather tonight and look ahead to Friday's forecast where more severe storms are likely.
And we have new video tonight from a viewer of a bear he spotted in Pueblo. Why Colorado Parks and Wildlife says sightings like this one will start becoming more common. That story next.
This is a First Alert 5 weather alert.
So we have severe thunderstorms rolling through the plains right now. The watch for these storms remains in place until 10 o'clock for all the counties you see highlighted in pink. Storms are working their way eastward tonight, and it's this long line of thunderstorms providing a high wind risk. And this particular section of the storm has up to 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts with it. So heads up to you in Lamar. This storm is going to be headed your way. It's clearing out of Los Animas right now. It'll be moving eastward slowly around 20 to 30 miles per hour. The gusts ahead of the storm are going to be the strongest. So then we also have this severe thunderstorm warning that now includes Burlington and Cheyenne Wells. And this storm has up to 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts within it. So those kinds of winds can do damage to property. So it's best that you're staying inside and avoiding being outdoors at this time. After those winds pass by you, you're going to have some really heavy rain, probably still some wind, and then eventually it will quickly clear up as those storms move east. And then behind that, we don't have a whole lot of activity. We have a few scattered showers still, but those will remain pretty tame. Most of the energy with the storms today are locked up in this line that's moving east through the plains currently. So as I mentioned, maybe a secondary burst of light rain to moderate rain through this evening. But once those storms move into Kansas, most of the activity that lingers tonight should be really spotty and have low impacts. Overnight will be still quite humid, and then tomorrow we'll start off with sunshine, helping to warm us up again to the 80s and 90s, and then we'll see another round of showers and storms developing. Very typical timing. Around lunchtime, they spark up in the mountains and along I-25. And then, similar to today, they're going to gain their strength as they start to mature over the interstate and in the plains. And then they'll progress eastward, bringing us a risk again of severe thunderstorms that will likely continue into the evening hours. And again, we could have a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings in the eastern plains. In addition to that, we could also have another flash flood warning for the Aspen Acres burn scar. We had that yesterday. We had that today for the north side of the fire. And we have this flash flood watch for tomorrow from noon until 8. So the highest risk will be to fire crews still working and any returning evacuees, and then to infrastructure, as ash and debris flow are highly likely at this fire zone, not just in the immediate future, but likely for the next weeks, months, potentially even years. There is fire activity tonight. You can see some smoke in the distance. We could see that earlier from Bill Folsom's live shot near the fire zone. But the good news is fire activity has been reduced, so it's not putting out as much smoke, and we have a favorable wind direction to help to keep our skies clearer in the next few days. So for tonight, we're going to have temperatures fall to the 50s and 60s. Tomorrow, seasonable, 80s and 90s. Definitely feeling toasty, but maybe you'll cool down with a shower in the afternoon. But then, unfortunately, the heat returns and it sticks with us. We'll be in the 90s this weekend and next week. And also, the wind is going to start to return, so it'll be especially gusty Sunday through Wednesday of next week, and that will likely increase fire activity at Aspen Acres. Canyon City, low 90s tomorrow, then mid to upper 90s after that. Several sunny and gusty days to come. And finally, for Woodland Park, we are drying out over the weekend and remaining warm and sunny next week.
Alex, thank you. Take a look at this video sent in from a viewer of a black bear he spotted on the south side of Pueblo. Big thank you to Rick for sending this in. And we have new video from Colorado Parks and Wildlife. They say they eventually had to immobilize and recover the bear from a tree. Yep, just saw it drop down from right there. It was brought to a bear habitat further south. Bear sightings like this, though, may become more common. CPW says the lack of snow this winter have forced more bears into the Front Range to look for food. They also say the Aspen Acres fire has wiped out some of their habitat, so more bears are heading into populated communities for food. CPW wants to remind people, though, to use bear-resistant trash containers, keep your car doors locked, and carry bear spray. The Denver Summit will play their first match at their new Centennial Stadium next week, but fans need to plan ahead for parking. The Denver Summit is the state's new National Women's Soccer League team. The team's temporary stadium, holds 12,000 spectators, but on-site parking is extremely limited. The team is offering off-site lots up to 2 miles away. Some lots are a quick walk to the field, but others require a shuttle ride. Fans say they're just excited to have the team close by.
Super excited to have a team close by, and we plan on going to a lot of games.
The stadium will also have a free bike, scooter, and stroller valet. They think of everything. The Summit will take on the Portland Thorns on Saturday, July 18th. Tomorrow night, the WNBA is live on Ion. First up at 5:30, the Wings soar north to challenge the tempo. Then at 8, the Sky face off with the Sparks. Coverage begins at 5. Ion is owned by the same company as KOAA News 5. The Air Force Academy is getting some of its civilian teaching jobs back. What we're learning about the new exemption to a recent hiring freeze next. New tonight, the Air Force is restoring 26 civilian faculty positions at the U.S. Air Force Academy after reviewing its fiscal year 2026 workforce reduction plan. In a letter to Congressman Jeff Crank, Air Force Secretary Troy Mink also announced an exemption to the hiring freeze for academic faculty and training instructors. This gives leaders greater flexibility to fill teaching positions, particularly in STEM fields. The move comes after News 5 reported last year 140 positions were set to be defunded. 36 of those were people employed at the time. The rest were job openings. According to the letter, the Academy will now continue filling both new and existing civilian job openings while ensuring all instructors, both military and civilian, meet required qualifications.
So our mission statement is that nobody goes without a basic need.
And they're sticking by that statement. A local food pantry is hitting the road to help wildfire evacuees. We'll show you where displaced families can get free meals and supplies next.
This is a First Alert 5 weather alert.
Thanks for staying with us for News 5 at 6:30. I'm Allison Zimmerman. We begin with an update on the mandatory evacuation orders in our area for the Aspen Acres fire. Today in Fremont County, all mandatory evacuation orders were downgraded to pre-evacuation orders. That includes anyone who lives along County Roads 15, 103, 100, Newland Ridge Road, the Los Pinos subdivision, and Lock Mountain Estates. If you live in Fremont County, you do not need a reentry card to go home, but you do need a valid photo ID or proof of address. All of these areas are still on pre-evacuation orders, meaning you do still need to be prepared to leave again if conditions change. In Pueblo and Custer counties, the evacuation orders outlined in black and yellow have not changed since Tuesday. But the Pueblo County Sheriff's Office says they anticipate to lift mandatory evacuations in most areas of the southern part of Pueblo County tomorrow. Evacuees must get a reentry card from the Disaster Assistance Center or the DAC to reenter. County officials say to save time, you can join a virtual waiting line before you get there. The mandatory orders are expected to be lifted tomorrow, will also remain on pre-evacuation status. The Aspen Acres fire started last Monday and is burning 96,121 acres in Pueblo and Custer counties. That's up about 90 acres since yesterday. The fire is 14% contained. More than 275 homes are destroyed, but officials expect that number to continue to increase. No injuries or deaths have been reported so far. Our Bill Folsom got an escort into the fire zone from the Custer County Sheriff's Office today. He got back and is live at the edge of the fire with the details. Bill.
Hey, fire activity kicked up again this afternoon after a fairly calm morning where they made a lot of progress. You can see up on the mountainside all that smoke that's coming up. A lot of that is from this afternoon's wind. A lot of what's burning now is up in the high rugged terrain with potential to head down toward populated areas. Earlier, when it was calm, the Custer County Sheriff's Office agreed to escort us in to offer some perspective on the firefight. Driving into the fire zone, the scenario of some houses gone and others saved repeats itself over and over. You wonder why some houses completely surrounded by burned trees survived. You also see evidence of fire's intensity, locations where flames were absent, but the heat melted things. There are dozer lines through property to create fire breaks in places where the fire reached a road and was prevented from crossing to the other side. Along with loss of property, there's also some former thick forested areas now charred and skeletons of trees. And when wind kicks up, the air turns into a gray blowing ash. The wind remains a factor where the fire continues to burn. In fact, talking to some firefighters today, they tell us they call the afternoon the witching hour, which has changed things up every afternoon. As we were leaving, this is what the firefighters were watching from a distance, one of those wind shifts causing the fire to kick up. For those wondering about the popular Bishop's Castle, so far it is untouched with fire a few miles away. Another factor now coming into play is flash flood warnings. As we were leaving today, just as we got outside, our phones lit up with a warning saying there was a flash flood watch to stay away from those burned areas. It's very evident when you go inside there, if there was a lot of water, there's nothing remaining to hold that water up on the mountainside. So that's another thing to keep an eye on. Live in the fire zone, Bill Folsom, News 5.
Bill, thank you, man. It's so tough to look at the video of that damage there. And as we know, with meteorologist Alex O'Brien now, rain gets on that, leads to potential mudslides. Bill also mentioned wind kicking up that ash. It's just, disaster on all fronts.
That rain will not absorb into that scorched soil. It just will immediately run off, goes downhill. It'll catch other debris that's not being held back by healthy soil anymore. So that's a main concern for rain on the Aspen Acres fire. And there's going to be another flash flood watch for tomorrow. Things have calmed down there today rain-wise. There was a flash flood warning earlier on the north side of the fire zone where there was rain. South side of the fire did not get any rain today. We're getting plenty of rain in the eastern plains right now where a severe thunderstorm watch is in place, and we have a couple of warnings to talk about. So going first to this southern warning, we'll be heading into Lamar here shortly. This storm is moving east at about 30 miles per hour. The wind gusts in this storm about 70 miles per hour, and that can do damage. So that's why we have a severe thunderstorm warning in place. On the north side of this storm system, this section is moving a bit quicker. It's moving eastward at 40 miles per hour. The gusts in this storm up to 60 miles per hour. And if you're anywhere near these storms, if you're hearing the thunder, it's best to remain inside at this time. A few more leftover showers possible west of this line, but this is going to be the main storm system we'll be watching for the rest of this evening. After it moves into Kansas, our severe weather threat will die down significantly. Any lingering showers here this evening should wrap up pretty late, actually, by about midnight to 1 a.m. And then we'll do it again tomorrow with another round of storms.
Alex, thank you. The Pueblo Zoo is offering free admission to evacuees or those impacted by the Aspen Acres wildfire. Officials say all you have to do is bring your proof of address at the entrance. That way you can show your ID or re-entry DAC cards. The zoo says they stand united with the community and they want to serve as a safe and comfortable place for people to find joy and relax. The zoo is open every day from 9 to 5. A Penrose organization is making sure families who have evacuated do not have to search far for the basics, making sure those supplies are getting into the right hands. News 5's Jalen Lee shows us how.
While donations continue pouring in for families displaced by the wildfire, one Penrose cupboard says it isn't the lack of supplies that is challenging, but rather knowing where to find them.
Instead of waiting for evacuees to come to them, volunteers with My Neighbor's Cupboard packed up hygiene products, household essentials, and free prepared meals and moved its distribution site to the Love's RV stop in Fremont County, where families displaced by the wildfire are already gathering. Volunteers say the change made an immediate difference, connecting more people with the resources they need.
So our mission statement is that nobody goes without a basic need. And we are truly faith-based, so give and it shall be given, and we believe that that's the way that these things need to be.
Tables are lined with self-serve meals alongside hygiene products like shampoo, toothpaste, laundry detergent, and other essentials that many families didn't have time to pack before evacuating. For Mindy Sanders, the supplies take away one more worry while she and her family wait to return home.
Anybody really needs soap or laundry soap or toothbrushes, whatever they missed, they're on it and they're here. So I can't even thank them enough. You know, I hope everybody who watches this can see this because I know we're not the only ones.
If you or someone you know has been evacuated and needs food, hygiene products, or anything, My Neighbor's Cupboard is open until supplies last.
Honestly, the hugs. Just coming for a hug. You know, that's what you're greeted to, a hug.
In Fremont County, I'm Jalen Lee, News 5.
Now to an update on several other wildfires burning in our state. The Snyder Fire along the Colorado-Utah border is now 98% contained. The fire burned about a little more than 30,000 acres and killed 3 firefighters in Mesa County. At its peak, about 500 people battled the flames. The Rocky Mountain Complex Incident Management Team led the fight. The recent weather proved their hard work is paying off. Crews say work like this forms a bond.
Kind of meet and have different little sidebar conversations, you know, kind of how's the family doing at home, this and that, and keep it kind of personal because that's what builds a strong team, right?
The team is now preparing to hand off command. Leaders are thanking the community for its support. They say they will always remember those lost in the fire's path. More resources are now helping to get the wildfire burning more than 60,000 acres in Dolores and Montezuma counties. That's on the southwest side of the state. Governor Polis declared a disaster emergency yesterday afternoon, which activates more resources and support to help get the fire out. Evacuation orders are in place for Dolores and Montezuma counties. There have been no reports of injuries or structural loss. The fire started about a week and a half ago as 3 small fires, and they eventually merged. Lightning is suspected to have caused all 3 of those fires. Evacuation orders have been in place for nearly 2 weeks for people in Ouray County. The Gold Mountain Fire is burning more than 30,000 acres there. There's no containment. Officials suspect it started after a tree fell on a power line. And crews are gaining containment on the Willow Fire burning near Leadville. It started on June 28th and has burned more than 4,000 acres. It is now 16% contained. Evacuation orders do remain in place for people there. The cause of this one is under investigation. This is new at 6:30 as fires burn tens of thousands of acres across the state. Coloradans are rising up to help those impacted. As people begin to rebuild and recover, they can be vulnerable to people looking to take advantage of them. Alex Dowd with Scripps News Group in Denver learned more about the vetting process for charities in this space, as well as how you can support victims and first responders.
At Denver's downtown United Way, upstairs, volunteers pack bags for victims of the fires.
What I'm hearing is you're needing food assistance.
Downstairs, calls are coming in for more.
You know, we've seen incredibly high call volume. Yesterday we had over 100 calls in queue, which is unusual for us.
People call here in need. United Way connects them to help.
We do very specific intakes to make sure that, hey, this person's home is in a mandatory evacuation zone. They are eligible for X, Y, and Z benefits. And we work very closely with DSHEM, FEMA, and the state.
A representative from GoFundMe says they've also seen asks increase. The website created a dedicated page for verified wildfire-related wants, with dozens of fundraisers raking in well over $100,000.
It has to be clear who the organizer is, as well as the person or the business that they're raising funds for, the organizer's relationship to that person, and then how the funds are going to be used.
While neither organization has found any bad actors and first responder departments haven't released warnings, they're still encouraging donors to do their research.
Now, there's always, in these kind of things, there can be attempts at fraud, but for the most part, you are looking at good actors who are just seeking help.
There are people who like to do their own research, and we encourage them to do that. If you have a question about the fundraiser, you can use the contact button to reach the organizer and ask them your question directly.
So help gets into the hands of those who need it most.
Alex Dowd reporting, and KOAA News 5 and the Scripps Howard Fund are partnering to raise donations to help those impacted by the fires. We've collected just under $40,000 so far, including $10,000 donated by News 5. You can help your neighbors out too by scanning this QR code for a link to donate or text FIRES to 50155. The Southern Colorado Wildfire Relief Fund will get those donations. We want to take a moment to thank all the firefighters, first responders, law enforcement officers, and everyone in between for working around the clock to protect homes and get this fire under control. It has just been a true labor of love here. Crews released this map today. It shows just how many fire personnel have come to Colorado. Crews from 29 other states are here to help. Right now, 1,831 firefighters and first responders are working to protect our communities, and we thank them so very much for that. And this is a picture from the Custer County Sheriff's Office of the signs near a road thanking the firefighters for protecting their community. The Sheriff's Office says, quote, "Thank you for standing with us, looking out for one another, and proving that even in difficult times, our community is stronger together." Alex.
And tomorrow does bring another chance of beneficial rain to the Aspen Acres fire. And we really need to get some good showers over that area because the hot, dry, and gusty conditions will return by this weekend. The forecast is next.
This is a First Alert 5 weather alert.
Yeah, our First Alert 5 weather team is out in the community to help answer your questions about the weather. And I did make some new friends recently, and one of them was very curious about lightning. Do you have a question about the weather, and what is that question?
How does thunder come?
Great question. How does thunder come? So it's all about the heat of lightning. So lightning actually is hotter than the sun, about 50,000 degrees Fahrenheit. And it's that temperature change that creates a shock wave, which creates the sound of thunder, just like a sonic boom from a jet. And of course, we know that lightning is very dangerous. So I always teach children the phrase, when thunder roars, go indoors. That's definitely the case for us this afternoon, as we have a severe thunderstorm watch in place until 10 o'clock tonight. And we do have some powerful storms working their way through the plains. So the wind gust potential moving through Wiley and Lamar right now up to 70 miles per hour. Likely within this line, you'll experience some gusty wind ahead of the storm, and then potentially up to 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts as the storm blows through, and then really heavy rainfall, and then it just totally clears out. So this severe thunderstorm warning moving into Prowers County will be in place until at least 7:30. This section of the thunderstorm could gust up to 60 miles per hour, moving through Cheyenne and Kit Carson counties. Eventually, this entire line of storms will be moving into Kansas, and then our severe weather threat will greatly diminish after that. Behind that main line of storms, we do have a few scattered showers and looks like a thunderstorm now in northern Teller County. So some of that leftover activity will likely linger with us through this evening, but the main concern will be those strong wind gusts moving through the plains right now, and any late night showers should wrap up between about midnight to 1 a.m. Will stay pretty humid in the overnight. Friday will be very similar to today. We'll warm up nicely with sunshine, high temperatures near average to the 80s and 90s. And then right around lunchtime, those showers develop in the mountains and I-25, and then they work their way eastward as they gain strength. So once again, on Friday, we'll have the risk of some severe wind gusts and potentially a few severe thunderstorm warnings. We'll also have that risk for flash flooding at the Aspen Acres fire with heavier precipitation. These storms will move east through the plains through Friday evening, probably clear out into Kansas by 9 o'clock, and then things should ease up across our region by that point. So our flash flood watch that has now been in place for 2 afternoons will be reissued for Friday from noon until 8. The highest risk in the burn zone will be for fire crews and returning evacuees and for infrastructure. So please heed all flash flood warnings in this zone. The flash flood warnings will happen almost immediately once rain starts. There is some smoke and some fire activity today on the spots that did not receive rainfall. So there is smoke being output by the fire still, but it's a lot less smoke than the past week and a half. And a favorable wind direction will keep clearing out the smoke that is emitted from this fire into tomorrow. So tonight we'll drop to the 50s and 60s. Temperatures near average tomorrow, 80s and 90s. Then after that, unfortunately, the heat, the sunshine, and the wind does return. So especially into early next week, we're getting quite gusty. And we'll have sustained winds around 10 to 15 miles per hour, but frequent gusts kind of all day long, up to 30. And that's going to be the status quo for a while. So yes, I do expect more fire activity at the Aspen Acres fire next week, as these conditions will remain very similar every single day with mid to upper 90s and breezy conditions. So we really want to have that rain tomorrow while we've got it, because it'll be going away for the next week ahead.
The U.S. and Iran trade strikes. I'm Haley Bull at the White House. What it means for the chances for peace ahead.
New tensions between the U.S. and Iran. Iran launched strikes against several Middle Eastern nations as the U.S. targeted military sites for the second day in a row. All this as President Trump questioned whether Iran was serious about a deal. Scripps News Group senior White House correspondent Haley Bull reports.
The path ahead for a deal between the United States and Iran appears unclear after both launched attacks, with a ceasefire appearing to erode. The United States and Iran trading strikes after President Trump suggested the ceasefire is over as Iran mourned its slain supreme leader, Thursday holding the final day of his funeral. Overnight, Iran launched attacks at Kuwait, Jordan, and Bahrain, drawing regional condemnation. Iranian media claimed targeting of U.S. military bases. According to a U.S. official, there were no reported injuries or significant impacts, and nearly everything was shot down or failed to reach targets. Meanwhile, the military says U.S. forces hit at least 170 Iranian military targets over 2 days to degrade Iran's ability to attack commercial shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. Wednesday, it included air defense systems, missile and drone storage, and naval capabilities on the coastline, according to U.S. Central Command, following strikes Tuesday against military targets and IRGC small boats in response to an attack on vessels in the strait.
We have many ways we could win, but we've already won militarily.
President Trump said he didn't know if it was a return to full-scale military conflict as he traveled back to the United States Wednesday night and cast doubt on the path forward for talks.
They have very little left, and they want to make a deal so badly. They called a little while ago. They want to make a deal so badly. I just don't know if they're worthy of making a deal. I don't know that they're going to honor the deal. That's the problem.
Meanwhile, mediator Pakistan called for restraint, while Qatar held calls with other Gulf nations as well as Iran. Qatar's foreign ministry said it stressed the need for parties to commit to diplomacy. Meanwhile, gas prices ticked up at the pump on Thursday, the national average increasing by 5 cents from the day prior, according to AAA, but still below the average a month ago. Haley Bull, Scripps News Group, Washington.
I'm Michelle Reyes, your Southeast Side reporter, and I'm in your community every single day. Actually, many of the stories I tell come from you, and I want to continue connecting with you either in person or online. And getting in touch is super simple. All you have to do is scan this QR code or give me a phone call, send me an email, or reach me through my social media platforms. I want to hear from you.
Before we go, we do want to update you on the mandatory evacuation orders in our area. Today in Fremont County, all mandatory evacuation orders were downgraded to pre-evacuations. That includes anyone who lives along County Roads 15, 103, 100, Newland Ridge Road, the Los Pinos subdivision, and Lock Mountain Estates. All of these areas are still on pre-evacuation orders. In Pueblo and Custer counties, the evacuation orders outlined in black and yellow have not changed since Tuesday, but the Pueblo County Sheriff's Office says they anticipate to lift their mandatory evacuations in most areas of the southern part of Pueblo County tomorrow. Evacuees must get a reentry card from the Disaster Assistance Center or the DAC to re-enter. The mandatory orders that are expected to be lifted tomorrow will also remain on pre-evacuation status. And we've received so many pictures pictures and videos from our viewers since this fire started. You're looking at just a few that have been sent in. A big thank you to all of you for helping us tell this story and reporting along with us. Your pictures allow us to see what's happening all throughout the southern Colorado community. If you have something to share, just head to the community page on our website. And a reminder, KOAA News 5 and the Scripps Howard Fund are partnering to raise donations to help those impacted by the wildfires. We've collected just under $40,000 so far thanks to your help, including $10,000 donated by News 5. If you'd like to help out your neighbors, you can scan this QR code, or you can also send a text to FIRES to 50155. The Southern Colorado Wildfire Relief Fund will get those donations. Thanks so much for joining us for News 5 at 6. We'll see you back here for News 5 at 10. Have a good night. The Aspen Acres fire continues to burn nearly 100,000 acres in southern Colorado. We have a behind-the-scenes look at the fire, conditions crews are up against, and what people are doing to help those impacted. Plus, new